How is your UPSC preparation journey?
To be very honest, it's a mixed bag.
What's about your take on the essay paper?
So I usually did not go into too many discussions.
Can you just elaborate a little bit about your prelims preparation?
To be very honest, for the first initial months, I never categorized it as prelims preparation.
Hello everyone. Next IAS welcomes you all to the Toppers Talk. Today we have with us Chaitanya Awasthi, All India rank 37.
First of all, you qualified the examination in your first attempt.
Right, sir.
And Chaitanya is a law graduate. You have completed your BLLB.
Yeah, right, sir.
From which college?
It's National Law University, Kolkata.
Okay. And Chaitanya has scored 184 marks in the personality test.
Yeah, 184.
So he has taken law as his optional, being a BLLB student.
Right, sir.
How is your UPSC preparation journey?
To be very honest, it's a mixed bag. My father and I started this journey together, and there were moments in this journey that I had pictured and planned together with him. But unfortunately, during the first 10 days or so, he passed away during the second wave of COVID. So it started on a very bad note, the journey. This was something that I treasured a lot, this journey, and I wanted to enjoy. But it didn't turn out to be that way. But my mom was my pillar of strength. She kind of rejuvenated, you can say, kind of revived me. She became my pillar of strength and consoled me, gave me hope, optimism, and then made this journey bearable. And towards the end, made me fall in love with it again. And here I am again, an ardent lover of the UPSC journey, the endless UPSC journey at times.
So, yeah. How this journey began, this whole concept of preparing for civil services? So, it seems your father inspired you a lot.
Yeah, to be honest and to be fair also, to a great extent, yes. As a young child, he was a reporter, and then he rose up through his own hard work to become the editor and state heads. And in all those positions, I saw him meet many people of affluent positions and stature. But whenever he met officers, he had a different spark in his eye. The kind of sense of admiration he showed towards officers was, I've never seen him treat anybody with so much admiration and respect than officers. So as a young child, somewhere it gets stuck in your mind. Matlab us samay to you don't know what career is, nothing. But you look up to your father and you see that he is admiring somebody so much. Then who is this person? And that desire somewhere then gets stuck that I want to be this person. So that's how it started. But as I grew up, my grandfather used to give me, and my father also, books written by civil servants. And I read them. And then when I grew up further, I saw with my own eyes the kind of diversity in the roles and responsibilities they have, the sense of service towards the nation. And I was telling sir also earlier that the kind of thanklessness attached to this job, that we don't even know who these people are. We just know DM Sahib. We don't know his name. And when something goes wrong, we are first to blame the administration. But we don't realize the importance in our day-to-day activities, how smoothly the society is functioning. And especially a complex society like India, which can crumble anytime, with so many competing interests and everything. And some people are holding it together without wanting credit or anything. And that is the kind of thanklessness that attracted me to the service, sir.
People have this kind of fault-finding attitude.
Yeah. I mean, that's life in general. But yeah.
So you got inspired by that?
Yeah, that was my first inspiration.
So you have chosen IAS as your first choice?
Yeah, IAS is my first choice. Yeah.
So any reason for selecting IAS as the first?
Again, sir, many people in India unfortunately call this the IAS exam. It's a civil service exam. There are 20 services, but people say the IAS exam hai, IAS banne ja raha hai. It's wrong. There are services equally important, and I think it's an individual's choice. I know my friends who have put IPS as first. I know my friends who have put defense state services at second and third positions. So I think those are the kind of people who crack this examination. Those who do it for the society कि एक रुतबा हो जाएगा और हम किसी को खुश कर देंगे, कुछ prove कर देंगे. That's not the kind of people I think I generally find going through the examination. People are very clear what they want. I was also very clear. The kind of diversity in responsibilities, I find it very attractive that the IAS heads law and order situation, the health department, the education department, anything that goes in the district, he is the crisis manager. And so that kind of variability attracted me to the IAS. But all services are great. I think it's an individual inclination. I found it to be IAS to be my calling, so I preferred IAS. But I know my friends who know IFS, IPS in the first position as well.
So, Chaitanya, you qualified the exam in your first attempt,
Right.
and that makes you an inspiration for so many candidates. So, can you just elaborate a little bit about your prelims preparation?
So, to be very honest, for the first initial months, I never categorized it as prelims preparation. It was always integrated, prelims and mains. But I guess 3 or 3.5 months before prelims, it became all prelims oriented. And to answer your question, what I mean by prelims preparation is that a large, good portion of the day was now spent on test series. And trying to test series, not solving test series by the fact कि कुछ question guess हो जाएगा कि क्या आ जाए. No, nobody can guess it. But test series help you refine your approach. कितने attempt कर रहे हो? You start getting a hang of paper देख के कि कितना is a safe attempt. People often ask me कि how many questions to attempt. ऐसे कि जो भी तुमको बता रहा है बिना पेपर देख के पागल बना रहा है. कैसे बता दूँ कि कितना करना चाहिए attempt? Easy paper है, go for 85, 90. Nobody is stopping you. Difficult paper है, stop at 70, 75. But people say कि हाँ उस दिन stop कर जाएंगे, negative marking होती है, pressure होता है. From my personal experience, sir, and this is where test series helped me, I realized कि जब एग्जाम में आप बैठे होते हो और पहले तो आप सोच के जाते हो कि नेगेटिव मार्किंग होगी तो हम नहीं मार्क करेंगे, लेकिन उस समय आपको लगता है कि मेरा 1 साल बर्बाद हो जाएगा. तो अगर आपने 2-3 ऑप्शन एलिमिनेट कर दी ना तो आप बहुत टेम्प्ट हो जाते हो कि मार्क कर देता हूँ यार, 1 साल बर्बाद हो जाएगा. एंड दैट इज वेयर सही में बर्बाद हो जाता है. इफ यू मार्क इट, इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू रेजिस्ट दैट टेम्पटेशन, देन इट्स डन. एंड दैट इज वेयर द गेम इज. आई ऑलवेज से कि यूपीएससी का प्रीलिम्स जो है वो आपके ज्ञान की नहीं, वो आपकी समझदारी की परीक्षा है. तो ज्ञान तो आपका मेंस में चेक होगा, आपका आराम से होगा, अच्छे से होगा, लेकिन वो तो देख रहा है कि आप रोक सकते हो अपने पेन को कि नहीं रोक सकते हो. And that is where test series helped me. So that was my prelims approach. 3 months before the actual exam, I went into all-out test mode. I gave a lot of tests. I revised them, tried to gain concepts out of it. But majorly it was refining my approach, my time speed, my calculations, ki kitna safe attempt and everything and like that. And I crisped my notes to short pages, very small diary notes. Instead of those bulky mains registers, everything was shortened, prelim specific. So at the last moment, I had very handy notes to just revise before the examination. So that was my prelims preparation, sir.
And what was your approach for CSAT? Because nowadays CSAT has become a real challenge for many students. So
Definitely has, sir. So CSAT, I think a lot of people take it lightly, especially people coming from science backgrounds. I was from humanities background, so I was a little bit cautious. I was made to be cautious, saying कि तुम तो humanities से हो, तुम तो भाई देख लो. But I always believe कि उसमें सबके लिए कुछ ना कुछ है. Humanities वालों के लिए comprehension है. They are good at comprehension. They'll do it quickly. But I think I initially took it a bit lightly, but some good sense prevailed in me. I think that was my father from somewhere, just putting it into my head. And I gave a lot of previous year papers and whatever resources on the internet I could find, I made avail of them to the best of my capabilities. I used a lot of practice questions from the internet, and those helped me a lot in CSAT, because CSAT is this is my first attempt. There are lots of people, you guys know this examination much better. I won't come here and sit and pretend and कि मेरे पास कोई जादुई मंत्र है. I have always said this, that teachers know this examination better. They've been in this group for a longer time, so you will know. But from my limited experience, what I have seen is that CSAT is all about practice. अगर आप वो flow है आपका practice का, उस दिन आप कर जाओगे. अगर आपने ब्रेक लिया हुआ है, आप सोच रहे हो कि लास्ट मोमेंट पे आके हम CSAT के कुछ फॉर्मूला रिवाइज कर लेंगे, स्पीड इज इक्वल टू डिस्टेंस अपॉन टाइम और लगा लेंगे, नहीं होता है. प्रेशर होता है, कॉम्प्रिहेंशन नहीं बन रहे हैं, परमिटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन तो इतना होता है कि किसी को कुछ याद ही नहीं होता है क्या होगा. So CSAT should not be taken lightly. Go for some whatever resources you can find and previous year questions. That's it, sir.
And Chaitanya, one more thing, as you said, the pressure बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. So is there any pressure handling technique you opted for while preparing and during the exams?
So to be honest, till my father was alive, it was a very smooth breeze for me. He never let that pressure. It was like a wall in front of me. So that pressure never came to me. So I was very inexperienced in terms of pressure. I used to think कि मैं बहुत handle कर रहा हूँ pressure, लेकिन पता ही नहीं था कि क्या आ नहीं रहा है, because my father was standing like a wall. And so I loved this examination because लोगों की expectations मुझे पता नहीं थी, societal pressure कुछ था नहीं. तो अब मैं अपनी मस्ती में था कि यूपीएससी निकाल लूँगा, निकाल भी लेता अगर पापा होते, लेकिन और अच्छे से निकालता, उस लो फेस से होके नहीं जाता. But when that wall went away, then it all came back. The societal pressures, the expectations, हर कोई पूछ रहा है बेटा कब हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, कैसे बनोगे, और अभी पढ़ रहे हो, और ये वो. And financial situations also became a bit off. But then my mother, as efficiently, she replaced, she became that wall, and she took it on her, with coping with the loss of her husband, and at the same time being that shield for me, giving me that safe space for 1 year. I always say this, that people say this is my first attempt. I always say treated it as my last attempt because of the situations and circumstances in my life and family. So I put in that extra effort. pressure is too much. And now that I've cleared it, I can come here and say to the aspirants ki mat lo, and don't care about people, and but wo aayega, and you have to go through it, you have to deal with it. It happens to the best of us. If people can still call Virat Kohli and put him under pressure, he can be in depression after achieving so much, then who am I? And that is what my mom says, that there are so many people who have achieved so much more than you, and there are so many people who have lost more than you. You at least have a mother. There are people who have lost both of their parents, and they're not cribbing or crying about it. It's okay to be sad, but don't be like that तुम्हारे साथ ही सब कुछ गलत हो रहा है, just learn to take the positives from life, and I think that was a big support. So my mother was perhaps the pressure mechanism or the secret to my pressure handling. Without her, I don't think, let alone clear the exam, I would be sitting here with you. But yes, there's no tactic. You have to keep the people who are really encouraging towards you close to you. You have to separate the wheat from the chaff, know who really cares about you, and know who's really caring about only your result. Keep the former people closer to you, the latter a bit away, and that is how you manage the pressure. Keep good people around you, and they'll fill you with positivity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the moment you cleared the prelims, तो आप exactly after the prelims you started preparing for mains or for the result तक wait किया?
No sir, so prelims का जब हो गया, I became a bit superstitious to the extent that I did not celebrate. I realized after that, now this can be a superstition, but I realized that things that I get happy about, it was just a fear, they get ruined. So I knew inside me, I had calculated, इतनी बेचैनी होती है कि कार में ही you just see कि क्या क्या हो रहा है और क्या नहीं हो रहा है, कितने सही हुए. So I knew that I had crossed the safe mark and I'll make it through, but I did not show it कि मुझे लगा कि कहीं नजर ना लग जाए या कुछ ऐसा, and all those things. So my mother was asking कैसा हुआ, my sister was asking कि चेहरे से देख के कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. But I knew कि हो गया है. So I went back, I took 2 days off, I didn't do anything, I just sat down, and from the 3rd day I picked up my mains का prep. डर अभी भी था, कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं था. सी यूपीएससी यू कांट गेस, मतलब आई न्यू दैट आई हैड क्रॉस्ड अ पर्टिकुलर मार्क, बट आई डोंट नो व्हाट द कट ऑफ विल बी. तो हो सकता है बाकियों का और अच्छा गया हो. सो देयर वाज ऑलवेज दिस फियर कि होगा कि नहीं होगा, बट एक थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस भी था, अगर सच बोलूं कि मेंस की प्रिपरेशन मैंने शुरू कर दी कि हाँ मुझे देना है मेंस. एंड व्हेन द रिजल्ट केम, it was an emotional moment, but then it was a happy moment also, because now I wanted to be, mains is the exciting part, to be very honest. Prelims is the scary part. Mains is the exciting part कि जो मैंने पढ़ा है वो अब मैं लिखूंगा. Prelims में तो सिर्फ गोला मार्क करा देते हैं, मजा ही नहीं आता है पढ़ाई का, 1.5 साल की पढ़ाई का. तो मेंस का वेट कर रहा था. तो वो जब मेंस देने को मिला तो मैंने तो उसको एक बहुत अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी, मेरे लिए तो वही गिफ्ट था कि यार मुझे लिखने को तो मिल रहा है, कम से कम वो भड़ास निकालूंगा जो मेरे अंदर है, वो प्रीलिम्स में नहीं निकल पाती है. तो ये था सर. तो मैं मेंस के लिए एक्साइटेड था, एंड देन द मेंस प्रिपरेशन वेंट गुड. 3 months around.
I have 2 questions for mains preparation. First, how did you plan your answer writing? Because candidates are generally confused, especially during this time from pre to mains, whether they should do the answer writing on their own, whether they should go give so many tests. First thing. And second thing, the same pattern of preparation, how did you plan for your law option? GS and law, how did you differentiate?
So I think very rightfully you said, answer writing is the kingmaker in mains. It does not matter how much you know, it matters how much you can communicate within that limited space and how effectively you can do it, because the examiner is having a lot of copies in front of him, and he might be tired by the time he reaches your copy, and if he doesn't find something exciting, he'll just mark it off and give you some average mark something. So you have to stand out there, and I think the best way to do is to keep it short and simple. This was the biggest drawback from me. Coming from law school, I'm not used to short and simple. I'm used to writing pages and pages of answers and very difficult jargons, known as a wordsmith. There in law school, it's a compliment, using technical and complicated words. Here it's a crime, it's a curse. So my first learning was to not use flowery language, not use too technical language. The art of communication is simplicity. और अगर एक टायर्ड एग्जामिनर को आप कॉम्प्लिकेटेड भाषा लिखोगे, वो गुस्से में आपको नंबर काटेगा. सो कम्युनिकेट इट सिंपली टू हिम, योर कंटेंट विल गिव यू मार्क्स, एंड दैट वाज माय फर्स्ट लर्निंग. सो आई पिक्ड अप ऑन दैट. What I did was I realized that I need to save space so that I can cover more dimensions. So I used a lot of flow charts and diagrams. पहले जब टॉपर्स को देखता था तो वो फटाफट इंडिया का मैप बना देते थे, और मेरा 8 से 36 का आंकड़ा रहा है हमेशा. तो मुझे लगता था मैं ये तो बना नहीं पाऊंगा. आई गेव 1 day to सिर्फ प्रैक्टिसिंग द डायग्राम ऑफ इंडिया, and it came to me, and that was a confidence booster कि अरे ये तो मैं टॉपर्स जैसे कर लेता हूँ. And then there was no stopping. So then I went to answer writing. मैं वो भी टॉपर्स की तरह करूँगा. इंट्रो, बॉडी, कंक्लूजन ही तो करना है. Speed is the essence here. the more number of questions you attempt, the easier it gets for you. Fine, you might write a exceptional answer, वो आपको एक number extra दे देगा, लेकिन आपको 10 number छुड़वा देगा. So create a balance. I'm not saying that quantity के लिए quality compromise कर दो, but Mahatma Buddha said the middle path is the right path, and UPSC or life in general teaches you that. So pick the middle path, create a balance between quality and content, and don't try to use too much of beating around the bush. Get direct to the point. UPSC is very specific in the questions, as you have seen in the recent means. They are very specific and pointed to the questions they are asking. Answer it to the point. That was it. As for the law optional, sir, it's again difficult because in law school it's very different style of writing. Here the expectations are different. Here they are wanting a government servant and not a government lawyer or a prosecutor or an advocate. So as a student of law, you write answers in a different way. As a student of, say, a person wanting to get into a government job, it's a very different mentality and way of approach to answers. So that's a switch I had to make. But I did it, I practiced it, and it came after a lot of practice. It did not come easily to me. Test series, I don't think, sir, they are the need of the hour. You pick one senior. I didn't have any mentor much during my preparation. Not say I had mentors, but not somebody who in my personal family, I mean, who I can. So if you have somebody in your personal family, then I don't think you need a test series. If you don't, then try to find somebody in the preparation or go for a test series also. It's not bad if you can afford it. And try to get the best out of them, give them an answer, see if you are able to communicate. वो भी एक इंसान ही है, अगर एक normal इंसान आपका आंसर समझ रहा है तो examiner भी समझ जाएगा. That was it.
So law being kind of unconventional optional subject, being from a law background, नहीं तो अच्छा लगता है देख के कि हाँ
जी हमको
कोई लॉ से
जी
क्लियर करता है. तो ये कब माइंड में क्लिक किया? बिकॉज व्हेन यू वुड हैव स्टार्टेड प्रिपेयरिंग तो कई स्टूडेंट्स, कई सीनियर्स ने कहा होगा कि नहीं लॉ ऑप्शनल मत लो,
जी
स्कोरिंग नहीं है, क्योंकि आज के समय में स्टूडेंट सबसे ज्यादा ये देखते हैं कि क्या स्कोरिंग है,
बिल्कुल
आजकल क्या ट्रेंडिंग है ऑप्शनल.
बिल्कुल.
सो यानी कि अगेंस्ट द ट्रेंड यू वेंट, एंड देन हाउ मच डिड यू स्कोर इन द लॉ?
I scored 275.
That's a pretty decent marks.
Right sir. And as you rightfully said, sir, बहुत लोगों ने ट्राई किया ये कि मुझे लॉ से हटा दिए. कोटिंग नंबर, स्टेटिस्टिक्स, ऐसा लगता था इकोनॉमिक सर्वे बता रहे हैं वो लॉ का कि इतने प्रतिशत ही क्वालिफाई करते हैं, ये एवरेज मार्किंग है. एंड आई हैव नेवर बीन अ पर्सन ऑफ सो मच ऑफ एनालिसिस. मैं इतना ओवर एनालाइज या कॉम्प्लिकेट नहीं करता हूँ. आई लाइक थिंग्स सिंपल. So my simple mentality to them was, I used to always tell them कि अगर तुम numbers पे ही जा रहे हो कि 20% ही law ले रहे हैं, then you should ditch the examination itself in the first place. कि 0.1% ही select होते हैं, तो मत ही दो examination फिर. तो that was my approach, and I always used to say to my father also कि अगर 20% भी law में जा रहे हैं, I want to be one of those 20%. What's the harm? 20% में भी तो कुछ लोग हैं, मैं जाऊँगा उसमें. And I don't think there's anything like low scoring or high scoring subject. It's all about comfort. If you're comfortable in a subject, it comes good to you. Law was a area of comfort. 5 years अगर आपने पढ़ा है, आप जितने गंदे वकील हो, अगर सामने कोई सेक्शन लिखा हुआ है 304 और 299, आप जान रहे हो कि वो किस बारे में, आप आधा पेज भर दोगे. चाहे आपने बिल्कुल नहीं पढ़ाई करी हो, आप आधा पेज भर दोगे. इतना तो आप अपनी फीस वसूलोगे ही लॉ स्कूल की. सो दैट वाज माय एरिया ऑफ कंफर्ट कि अगर एकदम भी आउट ऑफ कुछ आ जाए, मैं कुछ लिख दूंगा. And that was a comforting piece in optional. So that's why I did not foray into new areas. I stuck to my basics, played on my strengths, and look, it reaped me rewards. And I know for a fact that the kind of prep I had, if I would have put in more effort on optional, so slightly it was neglected, I would have scored higher. So law is not a low scoring number.
And what's about your take on the essay paper? Because essay paper has been kind of deciding nowadays.
So sir, I usually did not go into too many discussions, but the general खुसफुसाहट सुनाई दे देती है यूपीएससी की. People used to be like कि essay and ethics are the kingmaker and GS papers are similar. So कहीं ना कहीं back of the mind में था, but कुछ अलग से preparation नहीं करी. For me, essay has always been GS 1, 2, 3, 4. उसी का content आप मिला के उसको अच्छे quotes, अच्छा एक thematic story knit करके आप essay करते हो. And that is what I did. Again, I would give credit where it's due. I followed one topper stock. I think it was Vikram Grewal sir. He also cracked in his first attempt All India rank 51, and he gave a very simple strategy for essay. He said, in the first 15 minutes of your essay, when you see the question paper, just open the rough page and write down 20 points that come into your mind. Half is our 20 points, no order as such, and then arrange those 20 points in an order, and then just convert that one point into one paragraph. So you have 20 paragraphs, and in one page you can write 2 paragraphs. That's a 10-page essay for you. UPSC gives 10, 11, 12 pages only for an essay. So that was a beautiful thought. I implemented it in my strategy, and see how ethics preparations comes into use. I had a Word document of quotes to use in my ethics, and there was a John F. Kennedy's quote on how crisis is the time to do things, you know. And in essay, the topic was when the sun is shining, you should mend the roof. The time to
Yes.
mend the roof is when the sun is shining. So these are two contradicting quotes. And I think the first one I'm not very sure, but it is often attributed to John F. Kennedy also, the roof shining wala. So I used John F. Kennedy ka quote to counter his own quote in an essay paper. And I knew that it was talking about demographic dividend, but I wanted to write something different. So demographic dividend मैंने discuss किया, लेकिन बहुत छोटा सा end में. My entire essay was completely different to the topic, उल्टा उसका, कि नहीं कि don't wait for the sun to shine. Look at India's history. India's history has always been कि leakages हैं तब भी roof mend हो रहा है. फ्रीडम मूवमेंट थी, GS1 हेल्प किया. फ्रीडम मूवमेंट थी, हम अब तब भी अपनी एजुकेशन पे काम कर रहे थे. जाकिर हुसैन काम कर रहे थे. वेट नहीं किया कि हम आज़ाद हो जाएंगे तब एजुकेशन पे काम करेंगे. सिमिलरली मैंने विराट कोहली के एग्जांपल्स यूज़ किए कि इंडियन टीम वाज डोमिनेटिंग, इट वाज नंबर 1, ही डिड नॉट हैव एनी इंसेंटिव व्हाटसोएवर टू गो फॉर द फिटनेस रिजीम. यो टेस्ट लाना, कितने अच्छे प्लेयर्स थे, हम लोग नंबर 1 थे रैंकिंग में. उसने फिर भी उस सिचुएशन में भी ही ट्राई टू reinvent the team, try to do something better. So don't wait for the opportune time. When the sun shines, fine, mend the roof. सबको पूरे परिवार को ले जाओ ऊपर और mend करो. But when it's not shining, don't stop. So that was my essay. So that might have. I can't say कि क्या हुआ, हो सकता है कि उसमें गलत
बैकग्राउंड में इंटरप्रिटेशन ने हेल्प किया.
हाँ,
हाउ यू
थोड़ा.
इंटरप्रेट द
हाँ,
स्टेटमेंट,
बिल्कुल, that also helps, sir. बिल्कुल, definitely.
So you were also sharing that you love poetry. It's one of your hobbies.
Right, sir.
You write or you read?
So in mocks, I always said that I read more. I try to write. I would like to believe that I write, at least I to myself. But I'm more of a reader, but I write also occasionally, sir.
Okay, so something that always comes to your mind whenever you are happy, some words that you want to share.
So I think this was a gift given to me by my grandfather, and he said that it will come to use in great times in life. And I've seen this, not just this prep, but in life in general, poetry has been a great comfort zone, a great rescuer and relief. I think मधुशाला is one big Bible. उसमें सबके लिए, बूढ़े बच्चे जवान प्रेमी आशिक, सबके लिए कुछ ना कुछ है. उसमें धर्म के ऊपर है, उसमें लाइफ, anything that a man can go through in his life or a woman for that matter, it is there in Madhushala. So that is always a favorite. But I think two lines that were particularly favorite in this prep journey, it was Ramdhari Singh Dinkar's. Rashmi Rati is always everybody's favorite. But mine were two other lines from his poem which say that और अधिक ले जाच देवता इतना क्रूर नहीं है, थक कर बैठ गए क्या भाई मंजिल दूर नहीं है. So that was very two good nice lines which always kept me motivated, always made me feel like I should not curse God कि क्या मुझे दे रहे हैं. I've still got much better from a lot of people, so I should be grateful and thankful for that and keep doing my work. That is the greatest tribute that I can give to my father and to anybody who has helped me in life,
So earlier you were talking about how your friends supported you throughout your entire journey, and how you feel after this kind of, नहीं होता कि success के बाद कैसा feel हो रहा है.
So definitely, when a person succeeds, the world sees this person, they don't see the people who have kept me from falling like this. अभी पीछे बहुत लोगों का हाथ है, हाथ in the sense not like material help, but हाथ in the sense emotional help. When times were low, I wouldn't have been sitting. My mother, I've already talked about her, my sisters, my brother-in-laws and my family. And my friends, I mean, words fall short for the kind of support they've shown. For 1.5 years, I did not text them. They used to text me continuously, writing things like कि हम जानते हैं तुम ये पढ़ रहे हो, and फिर भी नहीं reply कर रहे हो. So that is the kind of love that keeps you going. At the end of the day, as we were sitting outside and he was saying that relations are the real investments, And I've been very grateful. I've always said this, that I've never been deserving of the people who have come in my life. They've always been too good for me. And I think it is somewhere down the lines, each one of them has contributed to me becoming this person today. I am reaping the benefits of this success. But a large part of it belongs to people who have been in my life, my friends, my family, particularly my mother, my sisters, and my brother-in-laws and others. So these are the people, my father obviously the biggest of them all. These are the people who have built this success. Yes, you see the end product, which is me, but the process is the more important thing, and that is where the credit lies. And I think the society should celebrate that aspect. And that is when this examination will also get normalized, I think. When we stop celebrating just one person and start celebrating all the people and those who have not qualified also, the hard work they have put in is equally mine. मैं हमेशा यही कहता हूँ कि जो second attempt और third attempt है उसका बहुत difficult है. First attempt मेरे पास बहुत मुश्किल से हालात थे, ठीक है, लेकिन बाकियों का first attempt is the golden attempt. वो पूरा उसमें देते हैं. Second में इतना mental pressure होता है, third में इतना mental pressure होता है. So those people should also be celebrated in whatever way. ठीक है, rank नहीं आ रही उनकी, but they are putting in the hard work and the grill. So I think that's, as a society, we need to evolve. देखते हैं कब होता है, लेकिन होगा जरूर.
That is a wonderful thought.
Right, sir.